So I spoke with the management and they agreed to have Srila Prabhupada there, but not in the main room. Otherwise, somebody was creating problem. So I put in the room near my office.
Did you ever go
So
down?
everybody can get darshan.
Very nice. Did you go down that tunnel that goes to the Jagannath temple from Sarvabhauma's house?
Yeah, it's only a few meters.
Oh, okay.
It's only a few meters. They fall down. But anyway, I think it's a big thing to have Srila Prabhupada there.
Yeah, sure. That's a
So
great.
everybody can come there and take the blessing of Srila Prabhupada in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya house.
Very nice. And I saw that they're fixing up the Gambhira also, where Lord Chaitanya stayed.
No, Gambhira, too much politics, and there was not possible to do anything. But there's another place where I fix it, and there's the place where the Murti of Abhiram Thakur is there.
Bhakti Ram Thakur.
Oh, Abhiram Thakur. So the Murti of Abhiram Thakur is there in one place. It's called Balimat. It's near Jagannath Temple. Nobody was taking care. It was completely destroyed. And we renovated.
Thank you.
So we're trying to do some service here for Srila Prabhupada.
I was wondering,
let's make Prabhupada's original books great again.
Nice.
Why not? Why not? Why not?
Standard. No.
We have to.
We're concerned.
I think it's our duty.
In that regard, I was thinking, we should form another 50-man committee. You remember that? There was a 50-man committee who, were really pressing on the GBC. I thought it was that was before leading up to that meeting in New Vrindavan in 1975. But somebody told me that they convened after that. Anyway, that's what we need. Can we get 50 godbrothers and godsisters?
What about
a committee?
What about Garuda Prabhu leading such a committee?
Right.
Yeah.
He's the one that has the academic and insightful articulation of the problem. It's Garuda.
Sure.
You gotta have some guys. Rupanuga.
Rupanuga also.
Rupanuga also.
They can just
Rupanuga's
lean on him.
Rupanuga's the senior to all of us. So he's the oldest.
And Garuda also is very knowledgeable in editing and academia and all that. He's really and he's right behind us. He's right behind us.
Exactly.
Well, it would be nice, but frankly speaking, I don't know if the GBC are going to listen to 15-member committee. They need
exactly
more and more people in the back. I think we need to approach a Russian devotee. That nowadays ISKCON is Russian. Without Russian, ISKCON is fall apart. So if we can have the Russian devotee in the back, then something can happen.
You should know that they're also, I preach in many foreign countries, and all the editions from BBTI there are also based on the changed books. So even though in Russia, for example, they had a very good translation of Bhagavad Gita, but then it was replaced with a translation by Bhakti Ganswami, which is not as good. So the same thing is going on everywhere. So, all the international editions also need a lot of attention because that's a huge work. What to speak of just the English one, the international, all the other languages, 80 languages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's going to take on that work
The
to restore
change,
that?
the change disease has spread like a cancer.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just only the book. We have to put Srila Prabhupada again in the center. In India, they make a list of the 100 more important spiritual leaders. And Srila Prabhupada is not there.
Huh?
Right?
How's it possible?
No.
Who made the list?
No, listen, it's the government. The point is that everybody in India know ISKCON, but they don't know Srila Prabhupada. Because everything is about ISKCON, but not Srila Prabhupada. So, you know, if you come here, you speak about Sai Baba, everybody knows Sai Baba, but nobody knows about this NGO or society. But
Well,
here
you
it's
know,
completely
because-
reverse.
because
Everybody
Prabhupada-
knows ISKCON, but nobody knows Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada was so humble. You know, he didn't say the Bhaktivedanta Swami movement like Sai Baba or all the others, right? We're called ISKCON,
Yeah.
so that's why everybody knows ISKCON. But yeah, that connection has to be made. What about that film that Yadabar made recently? The mantra and the Swami who, what was the title?
Oh, the man, the mantra.
Yeah. That must have played all around India, huh?
Yes, Hare Krishna, the
Well,
mantra and the man.
it's not to the public, it's just mostly for the devotees. The main public, they don't know about Srila Prabhupada. You go to Vrindavan, you go, oh, everybody know Krishna Balaram Mandir, ISKCON Krishna Balaram Mandir, but nobody knows Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON Balaram Mandir.
That is a shame.
That is the problem. You have to put first, Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON founder Acharya, Sri Krishna Balaram Mandir.
That's
If we don't put Srila Prabhupada there, nobody know about. Everybody say Mayapur. Oh, Mayapur Chandodaya Mandir. About Srila Prabhupada. That is the main thing, you know. Living in India, you know, it's frustrating. But to see everybody know ISKCON and very few people know about Srila Prabhupada.
founder
I mean,
Acharya.
that's one
It's the
thing.
founder
that-
of Acharya, come on, you know.
The prominence of Srila Prabhupada is one thing, but you know, changing his books, that's a whole another. That's a very different ball game. That's really serious. Prabhupada is I mean, he's in every temple, but I take your point that he should be more prominent, and especially amongst the new generation. You know, you got all these gurus preaching, and they hang on all the words that those gurus say, and a lot of and some of it is just not Prabhupada, and they add this and they add that. So, but anyway, the book issue, that's the real issue. Sorry if it's a bit noisy here because I'm out here doing a japa walk, trying to stay up all night and observing the Kadasi Vrata. So that's the noise. That's the noise in the background. So don't mind. I'm just out in a public place where it's a bit noisy.
Rupa Nuga Prabhu likes to quote how Prabhupada said, "Don't make me small."
Right. Very good.
I just added Rupa Nuga to the Sangha, to the Ishtagosti just now.
Very
Yeah.
I'd suggest that one of the reasons Prabhupada's not on that list is that there must be many from different spiritual institutions who are very envious of Prabhupada.
Yeah.
That's one reason. I don't know. I'm very rarely in India. Only those of you who've been to India will know how much Prabhupada's name is known. Because we tend to move in circles where Prabhupada is known. But only those of you who live in India will know. But I think it's a reflection of the minimization of Prabhupada over the decades. Consistent, right from as soon as Prabhupada had gone, he was minimized. And there were some attempts to bring Prabhupada back, and that was one of the reasons why the Ritviks sprang into, became very influential, because people were sick of Prabhupada's being minimized, almost excommunicated. And even today, I notice, even today, 2025, I noticed there are many times there are gurus and sannyasis who start kirtan, no Prabhupada pranams, no panchatattva. They're there for just to be, or whatever the reasons are. But it is a fact. Prabhupada has been minimized. And I think the core of it is the minimization of Prabhupada in his books, this ridiculous editing that's been going on. Trying to...
But the real highlight in all of this, I see what you're saying, Prabhu, but when Jayadratha Maharaj gets up and he complains that in Mangalati we are chanting the pranams of Srila Prabhupada, and we're chanting Jaya Prabhupada, and he's complaining about that. I mean, wow, that's got to be the behavior of a snake. It cannot be anything but enviousness of Srila Prabhupada. It's very, very disturbing to see someone get up and complain about us glorifying Srila Prabhupada. I was in the 1974 in his own temple. Yeah, I was in 1974 in the Lotus Building in Mayapur. We just opened. It was an ecstatic Mangalati. Srila Prabhupada heard that Mangalati in his room upstairs, and then when Tamal Krishna Maharaj went up there to after Mangalati, after leading this kirtan, he sent Tamal Krishna Maharaj back down again to say to all the devotees, if you all keep chanting like that, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur will personally come here and take you all back to Godhead. I heard that, Ekanath heard it, all the devotees in the temple heard that. And Prabhupada was listening to that arti. He listened to everything. He heard all the Jai Prabhupads, he heard all the Prabhupada pranams. Prabhupada didn't complain. Who is Jayadratha Maharaj to complain? Who is he to complain about Srila Prabhupada? It's so outrageous. It's so way off the track. It's unbelievable.
He told me in an email.
The point is the Jayadvaita is against Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
If Prabhupada say, I am in my book. So he deleted the book of Srila Prabhupada. And now he's trying to delete the name of Srila Prabhupada in the temple. So that is his mission.
Jayadvaita Swami explained to me in an email that the reason he said Mangalarti Sri Guru Vashtakam is not the Prabhupada song, is he said that we might be introducing Ritvikism into ISKCON if we...
A lame, pathetic excuse.
Don't quote Jayadvaita anymore.
He has dug himself a 6-foot grave, put himself in it, and he's trying to get himself out by pointing to the Ritviks. I mean, hello, we were all not born yesterday.
I suggest that Jayadvaita Swami is actually an anarchist. He has no regard for any basic rules and regulations unless he's laying down the law himself, and he'll change it according to his whim. He's an anarchist. He's a complete nonsense. Rascals. You could use so many phrases.
He has a double personality.
If I may say something.
Double personality. You know, in 1982, I think, in Italy, when we had a big festival with Bhagavan, and we installed the Murti, Jayadvaita was there. And we had a big tent where we make all the festival. And I was working in the tent to repairing something. And Jayadvaita Swami was coming there with his Trinandi, smiling like I always do. He was working, and in one moment, 2 kids of the Gurukula, they ran near him. They didn't touch him, but they ran near him. And Jayadvaita took his Trinandi, and he wanted to beat them, so angry. He took his Trinandi, he didn't miss, he missed completely them. And then he looked around to see if somebody saw him, he didn't saw him. And then he saw nobody there, he put again Trinandi, smiling, and he went away. So, which one is Jayadvaita? The one smiling with the Gandhi or the one with the angry face like a vulture? He has already the face of a vulture doing this thing here. He's against the Prabhupada. He's a demon, he's a snake. He has to be kicked out of Islam. And the problem is one, Prabhuji, I'm telling you, till when Prabhupada disciples are here, something can be done. But when we are all gone, what's going to happen?
When? Yeah, that's it. We got to do something within the next 5 to 10 years.
Right now.
I mean,
right.
Jai Dreda has created a huge mess. He's created a huge mess, and then he says,
Right.
"I'm just going to New York. I'm just going to sit in the corner and do nothing." He passed stool in the middle of the room. Then he expects everybody else to clean it up while he goes and sits in the corner. It's just outrageous. His consciousness, Dambo Dapo Bimanas Cha Kora Parusham Evacha. All the symptoms of a demon, the way he behaves,
Enough Jai
is
Dreda
like a demon. He's arrogant. He's proud. He's
too much Jai Dreda Kata. Let's stop that.
I do.
I don't want to hear any more about Jai Dreda.
I'd like to say something. Gargamuni Prabhu, in his book Gargamuni, in 2 places he said Prabhupada's method was not to reject, but it's to reform.
I think he's unreformable.
Some of those people you can't reform. They're not devotees.
Yeah.
Who understanding the instructions of Srila Prabhupada would continue to change his books? That's not a devotee. He can't be a sincere devotee and do that. He's a Kali Chela.
Yeah.
If I may say something.
Islam can be destroyed from inside, not from outside.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right? Islam can be destroyed from inside. And that is the proof.
That's what's happening.
That is the proof. That was Prabhupada said, from inside.
What happened to Krishna Dharma? Remember all those devotees, they made a big letter asking all the GBC to resign at once. Whatever happened with them? There's a lot of allies we should gather from them.
They're all ready to go. You just have to activate them. But the GBC blanked them out. The GBC, what they do with this, their strategy is they just go silent, they don't say anything, everybody else runs out of steam, and that's what they play on. But they're ready to be activated again. Krishna Dharma, there's Damodar. There's a lot of devotees against the book changes. And I think we just go in a particular direction. You'll see thousands, tens of thousands of devotees will come with us.
Very good.
Okay, how are we going to organize this? We need some organization.
This is $1 million question.
Who's going to volunteer? Put up your hand. Come on. We need a leader.
We need to sit down and as a group work out a strategy.
You're the Swami. You're the Swami. The Swami's the head of all the Varnas and Ashrams, Mara.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm the Swami, but I'm the Swami that's in, right. My Diviner Demoniac book. Oh, maybe that makes me the proper leader. I don't know. Because, Anyway,
I think I think if Garuda, there's one podcast that he did with Namarasa, and the theme was book changes, and I tell you, after I listened to that, I mean, he is really expert, super expert. And I think he would be a good leader because if he gets into a debate with Jaya Dweda or with what's the other guy's name, the other editor. If he gets into a debate with them, he can defeat them. He's very, very sharp.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
He has all the qualifications.
Huh?
No, but
he's got all the academia qualifications. But even in one lecture, in that podcast, you know what he says? Garuda says, he says, when I go through Prabhupada's books, he says, I want to change this. I want to change that even more than what Jaya Dweda does. And then he said, you know what? But I don't want to even touch even a comma because it's asa prayoga. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
And Jaya Dweda has glutted himself on that. He has 4,000 4,000 plus changes. I mean, and the more we go through it, but there's some of those changes are just so outrageous. It's unbelievable. So Garuda, he's the man. I'll post a link in the group of that lecture. The podcast between Namarasa and Garuda, and they only talk about book changes. It's very, very enlightening. He's streets ahead of most of us. And he's on the same plane.
3 Ratha Yatras ago, I was sitting with Jagweda Swami in Tompkins Square Park, asking him about the editing issue, about whether he would debate Garuda, and he quoted that verse from the 5th canto. How does it go? Yoshita, how one should not associate with women or men who are attached to women. So Jagweda Swami, he said this to me. I don't know if he said it in confidence, but he said it to me. He said, because Garuda dumped his wife and married a younger, hot chick, hot woman, then therefore he doesn't want to associate with Garuda because he dumped his wife and he's after a more beautiful woman.
Cop out. That's a cop out.
Garuda could also argue he doesn't want to associate with someone who complains about the devotees chanting Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. That's a worse apparat.
Anyway, the debate's not going to solve anything. What we need is a massive number of devotees to overwhelm the GBC, and so that they respond, because otherwise they just stonewall everybody, right? And they've been doing that for 50 years.
I was on the 64-man committee that pulled down the zonal acharyas. We made that 64-man committee. We confronted the GBC in Mayapur. We spoke with them. Ravindra was there. Even Jayadwaita was there. 64 devotees, Prabhupada disciples, and then they backed down. That ended the zonal acharya system. So something like in that line, 64 a man committee or women as well. And Gora, I just wanted to ask you. I was speaking with someone else before. We've got nearly 1,000 devotees on the Prabhupada Facebook page. Now, why don't we get 500 of those? The Prabhupada disciples. Mm-hmm. Get signatures from them. I mean, that would be very powerful. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Gora?
We'd have to think about. We'll have to think about how to phrase it, because I reluctantly created a censorship in our Sangha because some devotees were so angry at Jayadwaita Swami, they were flipping out those who still have faith in Jayadwaita Swami. It was creating a huge schism amongst all the disciples. So I don't know how. So I said, okay, we won't discuss book editing anymore because it's so divisive.
Mm.
Well, you don't have to discuss it. Just make an announcement.
Okay.
Let's create another Facebook page and make an announcement. Anybody who's against the book changes, go here.
Yeah, that could be done. Who wants to make that page?
You're the Facebook guy.
I'm supposed to be doing Sankirtan right now. I'm in my Sankirtan band.
You're the Facebook guy. Yeah. We nominate you.
No, thank you. I got enough to do. I'm not even getting out the door. Pretty soon it's going to be below zero and blowing snow here. I'm trying to do what I can.
Gaura's living like a sannyasi.
Beyond sannyasi.
I'm a dude, madman.
Good.
But someone should do it. Someone should do it. We need another page to direct people to.
Okay, let's somebody come up with a name and I'll make the page.
What will we call it?
Let's do that in our forum.
Yeah.
All right.
Make Prabhupada's books original again.
Yeah.
I mean, that says it all.
Yeah.
It says it all.
And then
and we can make hats.
Not in the trunk.
Baseball hats.
Red hats.
Yeah.
Again.
But it's true. We need the numbers. See, when the zonal acharya system was in place, 2 or 3 devotees complaining didn't have any effect. when the 64-man committee came up and knocked on the door in Mayapur, it did the job.
Well,
So-
we need the junior devotees, because if they see that they're losing their power base over this issue, that will make them act, right? As long
Yeah.
as their power base is not threatened or their authority is not threatened, they won't do anything.
The waiting game.
But
The waiting.
the problem with that is that those who have the power base, most of their disciples follow like sheeple. I mean,
Yeah.
there's one guru in China. He's Bhakti Vignasa Shingan Maharaj, something like from Scotland, Prabhupada disciple. He preaches against cow protection, and all of his disciples follow him. And in Prabhupada's books, he preaches for cow protection all over the place. So,
Okay, we know
the
that
power
their disciples follow them. So then, okay, what do we do there? We have to go to our God brothers who are acting as gurus in ISKCON and put some
Yeah.
pressure on them to join
Yeah.
us, right? So
Yeah.
whoever has relationships with those God brothers, that they would be the best ones to approach them.
See, the other side of the coin of this whole issue is that there's the legal side. That's a philosophical side, and then there's the legal side. On the legal side, they have actually. I'm going to get an update shortly from Gunanava Prabhu and also Gupta, because there's the BBTI have been taken to court because they breached international copyright law, IPR, international printing rights. And they illegally stated to get the revised edition of Bhagavad Gita, they had to say that Srila Prabhupada was a worker a hired worker and not the author. I mean, that's another what a kind. So not only is it a maha aparad, but it's also it's illegal, and they could actually face criminal charges, jail sentences, and heavy fines. And if that is successful,
in my conversation with Gupta, he's mentioned that he's made research of all the copyright, how they've handled the copyrights. He did 2 or 3 years to do that, and he's found out that they did practically nothing legally. And so there's a very good case to get those copyrights out of their control and perhaps put them in the public domain. But he needs money for that.
I heard that Tulsidas from America, a Prabhupada disciple, is giving Gupta the required money. That's what I heard.
It's Tulsi's case, and Gupta's the lawyer. The case is because they took down all the websites that were promoting Srila Prabhupada's original books, and his was one of them. So he then brought BBTI to court in Delhi, as Gupta's the lawyer for that.
Okay. So we're getting anyway. That sums it up. But if that goes through successfully, it's a whole different ballgame, because they will then. The worst case scenario for BBTI is that they will not be allowed to carry on the BBTI, and they will not be allowed to represent Srila Prabhupada's books. They'll be all out of a job, and then we have to have a new BBT. The original BBT with trustees, and we have to start again. And all those books will be illegal.
That's a huge piece of work. But then, the other thing is, I'm sorry, I lost my thought. I'll get back to it. Sorry. Senior moment.
You were saying about Tulsi and Gupta? You were saying about Tulsi and Gupta? That was good information that you gave. That was a good update.
Returning the BBT. getting control of BBT again.
and having to have new trustees.
Yeah.
Well, where are we going to find those younger, dedicated men? Because we're all 1 foot in the grave. Let's face it.
With the current BBT trustees, you got Nareshwar. I mean, I could say a lot about him. He's not a good man, and it can't put it this way. With the current BBTI directors and trustees, they can't be trusted, and so it can't get any worse. So if we get new staff, I think it probably can only get better, and especially if they come under good guidance from.
Well, are there actually BBT trustees? The BBT doesn't exist anymore. There's only BBTI, the corporation. BBT needs to be reestablished.
No, well, I had some communication with Bima, and I asked him what side of the fence is he on. You know, was he thinking about the book changes? He said that if he could somehow or other get out of being associated with the BBTI, he would. But he's kind of like stuck with them. And then he said, then he mentioned it goes back to the global BBT. So in his words, which is Bima, who's running the BBT there in Bombay, he classifies it as the BBTI and also the BBT Global. Now, what BBT Global is, I got no idea. I mean, who's that? We know who the BBTI is.
No idea.
I'd like to suggest that Nrsingananda Prabhu, when I spoke to him a few years in 2020, just as the pandemic was starting up, I asked him if there was anything that he could do to help establish a ministry of Prabhupada disciples, and he said he was dedicated to helping the graduates of the new GBC Academy, the new GBCs, so maybe he may have some suggestions about some young men who are dedicated to the original books that we could get on board.
Oh yeah, I remember my point. Sorry, go ahead and finish. But
that was it. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, yeah, the point is KBI, because Vida Guya is not printing anymore, right? He's I don't know if he's tired of the lawsuits or out of money or out of energy, whatever. Anyway, he's not printing. So I don't know. You know, that's an important discussion because, you know, this thing with the copyrights can go on and on. Who knows? But in the meantime, the original books that we have, they're not being printed now.
Yeah.
So
if the court case is successful, then the BBTI version, the what do they call it, the revised edition, revised and enlarged edition becomes illegal by the court order.
Bhagavad Gita jazz it is.
Yeah, but no, it's Bhagavad Gita as it is not, as it isn't. So it would go back to the new global BBT to start printing again. I mean, it's got to be done. If it's not done now, it'll never get done.
Okay. All right. We need a leader.
You. Come on, when you spoke.
I'm an old man. I've got no energy, and I have no home right now. I'm homeless, right?
Not making you qualified.
Yeah, you have all the
that's appropriate for a sannyasi, but I need a place to work from. So somebody put me in their spare room.
Oh boy.
Anyway, Krishna will. When devotees come together, Krishna talks, you know, Istagosi. Krishna gives the intelligence. Krishna will give us the intelligence. We've got to fix this problem. It's a serious problem. It's and it's not going to go away. And it's not going to go away peacefully, I think. If there's a court case, it's game over. With, you know, the Prabhupada's books will be saved. But if the court case is not successful, the only way after that is to just name and shame the bogus editing. That's it.
Name and shame is not going to work. We've been shaming him for 50 years, Prabhu.
Right. I
He
don't
doesn't care.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But we can always name and shame on a scale that's never been seen before. If we get coordinated.
You're right. 65 people or 100 people.
Yeah.
Well, you know, somebody that we could perhaps bring in. I mean, if we brought in the Ritviks, but you know, I mean, politics makes strange bedfellows, but you know, they're dedicated to Prabhupada and they're dedicated to the original books. And if it weren't for them, who
Friend
else
of
would
an
be
enemy is a
distributing
friend
the
of mine.
original books?
Yeah, the Ritviks are only jumping onto the Prabhupada the book change against the book changes, so that they can further their ends to be seen as someone legitimate. Because the Ritviks themselves, they change Prabhupada's books more than anyone else. They accuse Srila Prabhupada of changing the eternal, unchangeable law of disciplic succession, which he didn't. They put words in Srila Prabhupada's mouth that Prabhupada never said. How offensive is that? That's tantamount to blaspheming Srila Prabhupada. So I mean, to get into bed with those guys. Oh no, we don't need that. Let's just get a 64-man committee together. Forget them. And they can come in if they want. But we're not going to go to bed with their Ritvik idea because it's blasphemy of Srila Prabhupada.
Well, we don't want to join the Ritvik idea. We want them to join the original books idea.
That's all.
They're already on board with that. Yeah. So I mean, there is. Yeah. I mean, there's a saying that friends friends become friends when they got a common enemy. So we got the common enemy is now the book changes. So we suddenly become friends with them, and after we fix it up, then we go back to being enemies.
But the book changers will make us guilty by association that because we're hanging with the Ritviks, we're actually closet Ritviks ourselves.
No. We're not hanging with them. They're joining with us. Anybody can join the campaign for the original books. We're not going to exclude anybody from that.
But it can make things complicated. You know, when you get down the line, are you guys a Ritviks? You know,
No, we're not.
I mean, I would say bring them in as a last resort. Let's go it alone. Let's get a 64-man committee together, and approach the GBC and Mayapur. I think that it worked last time. Why can't it work again?
Well, here's the thing. They all think they're all Prabhupada disciples, so we can get a lot of Prabhupada disciples that way.
18-year-old Prabhupada disciple.
But what is it that actually we want? Do we want a Bhagavad Gita with annotations in it, or do we want it just like it was?
No, we want the original. We want the original. And if there's changes, do it the way Garuda and the scholars say it should be done.
How? Annotations?
Well, you read his book, you know. I mean, he wrote a whole book about that.
Can you just give the gist of it?
Well, yeah. The editors have to be noted. The editors have to be noted, and then each change has to be footnoted, why it was changed, and what the original was.
Yeah, but in a separate book. That's the point that Garuda makes.
That's right.
Sorry, what's your name, Prabhu? I forgot your the Vaishnava, what's your name? Jagannath Prabhu. So Jagannath Prabhu made that point very, very nicely. And Garuda makes exactly the same point. Look, if you do your own Bhagavad Gita, but do it separately, and put whatever you want in there that you think that this is wrong with the original version, this needs to be corrected, but not inside Srila Prabhupada's books, because that is asa prayoga deviation, and the books that Prabhupada actually approved, that goes into circulation. And then we can't go wrong. That Bhagavad Gita, it made all the Prabhupada disciples in the world, 4,500 Prabhupada disciples, and they spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. With what the book changes, they see it as not having sufficient potency, that they need to put more potency in it. But those original books have all the potency to last for 10,000 years, as they did with the Prabhupada disciples. And anyway, so Jagannath and I think and Garuda Prabhu, they're really on they're both very, very scholarly. And if we hear what they have to say, I'll share the link of the podcast that Garuda Prabhu had. It's very, very enlightening. Really, I'll share it in the group later when I get back. The only thing, the whole podcast, it goes for maybe 1.5 to 2 hours, is all about book changes. And Garuda goes through. He discusses it threadbare, and if we can get him onto to the group here, it would be really fantastic.
I'm waiting for his answer. I invited him.
All right.
Okay, Prabhuji, I'm sorry, I have to go. Here is midnight in Puri. Yeah, it was a pleasure to see all of you. I'm so lucky to have the possibility to see all my God brother here and speaking about Srila Prabhupada. I'm fired up. We hope really we can do something for Srila Prabhupada. And
Thank
for
you for
all the generation, for all the generation to come. It's not just only for us. It's for 10,000 years.
Yes.
That's what Prabhupada wanted. That fighting has to be for that purpose, not just for us or for local, for now. To fight for 10,000 years.
Thank you for bringing Prabhupada.
Glorious.
Thank you for bringing Prabhupada to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. I'm sure he likes it there.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Send me your blessings so I
Thank you
can
for
go
your
on with my service.
association.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhupada, God bless you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Night, Gaur Premanandi. Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.